All right, buckle up for this deep dive because we got a story you guys sent in that's really got us thinking.
It has.
Yeah, it's about a chance encounter, between a young engineer just drowning in student debt.
Oh, yeah, I've heard about this one.
Yeah, and you guessed it, Elon Musk.
Ah,
But it goes way beyond just a lucky break, though. We're
right.
we're going to talk about, taking a chance, the impact of generosity, and how one person's actions can ripple out and like change the whole world.
Right. And what's so interesting about this is that it taps into anxieties I think so many people are facing right now.
Hmm.
Crushing student debt, especially for those wanting to make a difference in fields like renewable energy,
Yeah.
which is exactly where
Sure.
Jacob, our engineer, wants to be.
Exactly. And it's not just some like, abstract financial problem.
Right.
The story says Jacob graduated with $76,350 in loans.
Oh, wow.
That's not just a number.
Oh,
That
yeah.
felt like a life sentence to him.
Well-
He wants to work in renewable energy, right? But that debt is just this huge weight holding him back. So picture this, Jacob hears that Elon Musk is speaking at this public event and just decides to go.
Yeah.
He's not even like a super fan with the plan. It's
Right.
more like, what's the worst that could happen?
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
And this is where things take a turn
Yeah.
from relatable to almost unbelievable.
Right.
So during the Q&A, Jacob gets his chance, gets to the mic, and he lays it all out there, his passion for renewable energy, his crippling debt, how it's stifling his dreams. And then he asks Musk a question that just seems to hang in the air.
Oh, yeah.
How do you keep going when everything feels impossible?
I don't know about you, but I can practically feel the tension in that room.
Right.
Like, what is Musk going to say to that?
Well, surprisingly, Musk leans in, like genuinely intrigued.
Really?
Yeah, and he even reflects on moments in his own journey where he had to borrow heavily to keep Tesla and SpaceX afloat.
Wow.
The story mentions that he seems to connect with Jacob's struggle,
I see.
which probably made the audience lean in even further.
Oh, I bet.
And then, out of nowhere,
Yeah.
Musk drops a bombshell.
What?
He offers to pay off Jacob's entire student loan debt.
Oh my gosh, I bet Jacob nearly fainted.
But hold on, there's a catch.
Uh-oh.
It's not a free pass.
Right.
Musk makes it clear this is an investment.
Okay.
His condition. Jacob has to use his education to make a real positive impact on the world.
Whoa. That's some serious pressure.
It is.
I mean, it's a heartwarming gesture, no doubt.
Hmm.
But does that kind of condition make it genuine help? Or is it more about Musk, like, creating an image for himself?
That's a good question.
And what about the ethics of placing that kind of expectation on someone you know? Is that setting a precedent we want to see more of?
That's a great point, and honestly, a question worth pondering.
Yeah.
On one hand, it highlights the potential for individuals with resources to create, life-changing opportunities. But on the other hand, it does raise concerns about the power dynamics involved and whether this type of conditional generosity is sustainable or even fair in the grand scheme of things.
This isn't just about Jacob anymore.
Right.
This sparks a bigger conversation about wealth responsibility and how we address systemic issues like student debt.
Yeah,
It's easy to get swept up in the feel-good aspect, but we got to look deeper.
absolutely.
So Musk throws down this challenge,
Yeah.
and honestly, I'd be curious to know, like, what's going through Jacob's mind at that moment?
Right.
Does he see this as, like, an incredible opportunity or a terrifying burden?
Yeah, I think it's definitely a mix of both.
Yeah.
But what we do know from the story is that Jacob takes that challenge and runs with it.
Okay.
He ends up landing a job at Solar Nexus.
Okay, so for those of us who aren't, like, energy experts,
Right.
what exactly does Solar Nexus do? Break it down for us.
Sure. So in a nutshell, they're developing this cutting-edge solar technology,
Okay.
making clean energy more accessible and affordable.
Right.
Think of them as pioneers in the fight against climate change.
I see.
And this is where Jacob comes in.
Okay.
He doesn't just clock in and out, he throws himself into his work.
Okay, cool. So that leads to him spearheading this, like, Bright Start program we keep hearing about.
Exactly.
What's so special about that?
Well, Bright Start is all about tackling energy inequality.
Okay.
The story says they developed these super efficient solar panels,
Mm-hmm.
specifically designed to be affordable for low-income communities.
Gotcha.
So instead of, these families being burdened by high energy bills,
Yeah.
they're able to generate their own power, saving money and reducing their carbon footprint.
So it's not just about fancy tech, it's about making a tangible difference in people's lives.
Exactly.
Did this story mention how successful the program was?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
It gained national recognition for its innovative approach and impact.
Really?
Yeah, it drastically reduced energy costs for countless families, and it even became a model for other initiatives across the country.
That's amazing. It's a perfect example of how focusing on like practical solutions
Hmm.
can have a ripple effect far beyond just the initial project.
It really can.
So it sounds like Jacob really took Musk's challenge to heart and turned it into something incredible.
He did, and his success doesn't stop there.
No.
Remember that energy conference we mentioned?
Uh-huh.
Well, Jacob ended up being a keynote speaker,
What?
sharing his story and inspiring a whole new generation of engineers and entrepreneurs.
Wow.
And guess who was in the audience watching it all unfold?
No way, Elon Musk himself.
Yep, the story says he was there giving Jacob this nod of approval.
Oh, wow.
Talk about a full circle moment.
Yeah.
But it goes even further than that.
Okay.
Musk sends Jacob this short email later, and it simply said, "Not that kid, keep going. The world needs more dreamers who act."
I gotta admit, that's pretty cool.
It is.
It's like Musk saw something in Jacob,
Yeah.
not just talent, but that drive to actually make a difference.
Right.
It also makes you think, though, are these like grand gestures really enough to address the student debt crisis that's holding so many people back?
Right. That's a valid question.
Yeah.
This story is inspiring, but it's also a tiny snapshot of a much bigger problem.
Mm-hmm.
We need systemic solutions, not just individual acts of generosity.
Right.
Think about it. Millions of people are struggling with student loan debt.
Mm.
It's preventing them from pursuing their dreams, starting businesses, buying homes, all of it.
Yeah, it's like this huge weight on the economy and on individual lives.
It is.
But Jacob, even with his extraordinary experience, he doesn't just stop there.
No, he doesn't.
He takes his own experience and tries to create like a solution, right?
Exactly. Remember how he felt trapped by that $76,350?
Yeah.
He uses his newfound platform and resources and starts a scholarship fund specifically for aspiring engineers.
Wow.
His goal is to help them avoid the same debt trap that he faced.
Good for him.
It's a small step,
Right.
but it shows how impactful even individual actions can be.
It's like he's taking that rising tide lifts all boats concept and putting it into action.
Yeah.
But instead of waiting for some huge wave, he's creating his own little current to help others along.
I love that analogy.
And it goes beyond just the financial help.
Yeah.
The story mentions that Jacob also becomes a mentor to young engineers.
Right.
Sharing his experiences, offering advice, and helping them navigate the challenges of the field.
Yeah.
Okay, now that's something I can relate to.
Hmm.
I remember when I was starting out, having someone who had been there, done that,
Right.
made all the difference.
Yeah.
It's not just about the money, it's about having someone believe in you, guide you, and tell you it's going to be okay.
Exactly. That kind of support can be invaluable, especially in fields like engineering, where the learning curve is so steep.
Right.
It's about fostering a community of support and shared learning.
But I'm also wondering, did the story mention any specific examples of how Jacob's mentorship impacted someone?
Yeah,
I think a real life example would bring this whole idea home for our listeners.
you're right. Concrete examples are always more powerful.
Yeah.
And yes, actually, the story highlights one particular mentee of Jacob's, a young woman named Anya. She was brilliant, had a passion for sustainable technology, but she was on the verge of dropping out of engineering school
Oh, no.
because of financial struggles and feeling overwhelmed.
Yeah, I've been there.
Jacob saw her potential, offered her a scholarship from his fund, and became her mentor.
Okay, stop right there. This is what I'm talking about. This is where the story gets real.
It does.
What happened to Anya?
So with Jacob's support, Anya not only finished her degree, but she thrived.
Good for her.
Yeah, she went on to develop this incredible water filtration system
Really?
that's now being used in underserved communities all around the world.
That's amazing.
It's a perfect example of how one person's belief in another can spark this chain reaction of positive change.
It really is. It brings home the point that even small actions can have a huge impact.
They can.
It also makes you wonder, though, what if Jacob had never taken that chance, never asked Musk that question?
Yeah.
What if he had just resigned himself to being crushed by debt?
It's a thought-provoking question, isn't it?
Yeah.
This entire chain of events, Anya's success, the Bright Start program, the scholarship fund,
Right.
all stemmed from one seemingly impossible moment.
Yeah.
It really underscores the power of taking a leap of faith even when the odds feel stacked against you.
You know, it's funny. We started this deep dive talking about Elon Musk and his grand gesture, but the story really shifted to Jacob and his dedication to making a real difference. It's like Musk was a catalyst, but Jacob is the one who turned that spark into a sustained flame.
Precisely. And that's what makes the story so compelling. It's a reminder that we all have the potential to be catalysts for change, regardless of our background or resources.
Yeah.
It's about that willingness to step up, to mentor, to invest in others, and to keep pushing forward, even when things feel impossible.
Speaking of impossible, remember that question Jacob asked Musk? How do you keep going when everything feels impossible?
Yeah.
I'd love to hear your perspective on that.
Okay.
What keeps you going when you hit those inevitable roadblocks?
I've faced my share of challenges over the years, both personally and professionally.
Yeah.
And honestly, what keeps me going is that belief that even small actions can make a difference.
Yeah.
It's about focusing on the things I can control, contributing my skills and knowledge to something bigger than myself,
Right.
and finding joy in the process of learning and growing.
I love that it's not about waiting for some grand opportunity or a stroke of luck. It's about taking those small, consistent steps forward day after day.
Yeah.
Cultivating that resilience and that unwavering belief in your own potential.
Exactly. And that's the message I hope our listeners take away from Jacob's story.
Yeah.
It's not about replicating his exact journey,
Right.
but about finding that thing that lights you up, that cause you believe in, and then taking that first step, however small, towards making it a reality.
Beautifully said. So as we wrap up this deep dive, I have one final question for you, dear listener. What seemingly impossible dream are you holding on to? What's that one bold step you can take today to move just a little bit closer to it? Remember, even the most incredible journeys start with a single step. Keep dreaming, keep pushing, and who knows, maybe your story will be the next one we explore.